Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I have a very special guest with me here today. This is my husband.
Yes, known as Lori's husband.
Okay, so I had this idea. Me and Dustin are married for a good few months now, and we've actually been together for a really long time.
8 years.
Yeah.
Eight, counting up the months. A year and 4 months. No, not what?
Okay.
8 years and
yeah.
4 months.
Yeah.
We've been together.
8 years and 4 months. That's crazy to think about. And in that whole span of us being together, you know, still even now, we are dealing with a lot of different challenges. I feel like every new phase in our life or in our relationship, we're always dealing with a new challenge. I think the most obvious part that you all have seen in our physical appearance is that we are not of the same race, culture, ethnicity. And I thought that we finally set the record straight and address assumptions that people may have about our relationship as an interracial couple.
And just to clear up any questions that everybody has been asking us over the years too, we're gonna try and knock down most of the questions that has been asked to us over the years.
Yes, so Dustin and I took some time, we sat down and thought about what are some assumptions that we have heard in the past 8 years. We're not coming on here to bash on anyone that has said that to us or make you feel ashamed, but this is more of just bring awareness to some things that Dustin and we may have taken to heart or have found questionable or a bit odd. And it's more of just be careful what you say, be careful what you think. I feel like it's in our human nature to judge people. This is where morality and decency and just human kindness comes in of, you know, it's okay to ask questions, it's okay to be curious, but there's also that aspect of think before you say. Over the years of us being together, a lot of people didn't think before they said. It has affected Dustin and I. I feel like each time an assumption is brought up, we both address it really respectfully, and we can talk a little bit about that too when we bring up the specific assumptions. I just want to put that out there that we're not here to shame or bash anyone, but it's more of just bringing awareness of what is it that you might have possibly done, what is it that even we have done or said before too that we should bring to light or even spread awareness about.
I suppose just to keep it brief, we're just clearing up the air on a lot of topics that we just faced over the years. I know for me personally, dealing with a lot of this stuff over the past 8 years being with Lori, I just kind of laugh off a lot of the stuff because I take almost anything as a joke. So, you know, I just thought most of it is funny, but you know, as far as certain situations in particular, Lori has addressed it with me too, was that like, you know, why are you laughing about it? You know, that's not okay. And you know, me just being the goofy dude that I am, you know, I just never took anything serious when it came to stuff like that until I did some just reflecting about some of the stuff that was going on in our relationship, as far as just again people approaching us in a certain way that made us feel a certain way. Of course, like I said, it made me reflect and like, you know, like maybe that wasn't okay to say, like maybe I should address that with this person that said that, you know, because I just took it as just them being curious. But the more and more it has went on, as far as just these same patterns being repeated, we figured that, you know, we got to start addressing this stuff with the same people that are saying the same stuff to us. So that's just kind of where me and Lori are at now. We're just not necessarily putting people in their place, but again, just simply addressing some stuff that are certain topics that, again, that we just been faced with over these past few years.
All right, so I hope that you all will enjoy this video and sit with us in this interesting conversation that we're gonna have by setting records straight and addressing these assumptions. Okay, so the first assumption that I have is it's just a phase. And what this means is some think it's not a serious relationship, that we are just experimenting, or I'm being rebellious against my family and our culture. Mind y'all, we started dating when we were in high school. I was a sophomore and he was a junior in high school. Yeah, let's talk about that.
From my point of view, from this specific topic of it just being a phase, I would say that Lori kind of had to deal with most of that, especially in the beginning, you know, with her culture and everything. It was very different for her to, especially her being the oldest daughter too in her family. So not only she's the oldest sibling, but she's the oldest daughter. So of course she had to, of course you can touch base on this anytime you want, but from what I learned with that title of being the oldest daughter, there's a heavy role that Lori had to play within her family. She's pretty much the second mom is what I learned. And I witnessed myself, you know, she took care of her siblings, did everything around the house as she was expected to. It kind of did seem like to some of her family that she was kind of rebelling against them. Not justifying the fact that they're saying that, but, you know, I get where they're coming from when they say that. But, you know, of course, it was untrue. Look at us now, 8 years down the road, of course, we're still together, of course, so. But, you know, that's just kind of something that I witnessed, like I said in the beginning, just that burden that Lori had to bear. I guess, you know, I kind of wanted, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of spiteful about that. Part of me just wanted to, you know, get back too, like, you know, they think I'm just gonna be here. Like, my mindset was that, the way my thought process was that since they think that I'm only gonna be here temporarily, let me show them I'm gonna be here forever. And that's still my plan to this day, so. But that's just kind of how it was. For my family specifically, they were welcoming since the beginning. So we didn't really have any problems from my side of the family. They were very welcoming. They were very welcoming to Lori, and they accepted her in immediately. It was just kind of on her side because of cultural purposes and stuff. Because her family is very traditional and all that too. And I understood that, but you know, I didn't take that as me just giving up just because they had a certain thing to say or a certain thought that they were thinking about us. They didn't stop us, so yeah.
I think those are all really good points, and it definitely felt like that. I just got that a lot, especially like within our first year of being together. We were so young. I think I was like 15 at that time, and Dustin was my first serious relationship. So, you know, my parents, they were a little skeptical, a little like, play it out, play it by ear, it's not gonna last. And it wasn't just my parents, it was also a lot of my relatives and my family.
Keep in mind, with that being said though, her family was really cool with me since the beginning. Like, that is one thing that I do want to acknowledge too. Like, now that they're my in-laws, you know, they've actually, you know, shown me a lot of hospitality since the beginning, you know, despite, you know, some of these things that were said about us, because they also had to deal with that burden too, with, you know, the OGs in the family saying what they were saying. They had to deal with that too, you know, and despite that, they still treated me as a son already, you know. Just a quick shout out to, you know, my now family for life now. Now that me and Lori are married and all that.
Yeah.
They, like I said, they shown me love since the beginning, so
we've come a long way.
Yeah.
All right. Our next one is, you must not like your own race. And this assumption, so this one is assumption that choosing a partner of a different race means you're rejecting your own culture. I can't relate to this one, but I feel like you might.
Well, not too serious instances where I was kind of facing that. Not with my own family. Like I said, my family, they're cool. They are the most open-minded people that you would ever know. So, but I just can recall there was one moment in school. It was back during my senior year, I believe. Yeah, my senior year. So me and Lori have been dating for about a year. I remember that there was like a school survey that was happening in our homeroom class, and it was hosted by these two African American girls. And I guess like the topic of the survey was like, why don't black men date black women? And like, I remember like on the survey paper, it was just like general questions based on just like very like shallow and just very closed off questions, you know. And it just made me feel uncomfortable. I just really think like, does that, like, not to bash black women, of course, but like, it was just that survey that they decided to compose to create it as like a project or something. Other than that, you know, for me personally, when it comes to my own race or dating within my own race or dating outside my race, I'm not gonna lie, I really didn't have a preference. I guess I just fell for Lori, not for her race, of course. It was just kind of like a spin the wheel of fortune.
Okay.
And it just happened to fall
What?
on Asian, you know. But no, but in all seriousness, it really wasn't like race preference thing for me. It's just I just happened to fall in love with Lori for who she was, not because she was Asian. Never been with a black woman, not because I don't like black women. You know, that is one thing I would want to clear up too, because again, that's something that I had to run in with in the beginning. My and Lori's relationship, a lot of assumptions among, like I said, the topic that was being discussed back in school was interracial dating, like I said, for that survey, and that just something I wanted to clear up in the air, because it's, you know, not all black men are like that, you know. It's just I just happened to fall with somebody that was outside of my race, and it was nothing more than that, not because of race itself, but just because of, you know, who Lori is.
Yeah, as cliche as it sounds, we both were really attracted to each other's personality. Like I mean, the physical appearance was, you know, it's great. And I think it was so much more important for the both of us to be attracted to each other's personalities. Like I was so attracted to his humor. I don't know what you were attracted.
I fell in love with you because you reciprocated the energy. I haven't seen you. Okay, keep in mind we met in a youth program, right? And the moment we started talking like outside of this youth program, Lori was like a completely different person. Like she was more goofy like outside of the program because she didn't have to put up a face and act cool in front of everybody. She finally showed me her true colors when we started talking, and you know, that's just of course the side of Lori that I fell in love with. So yeah, as cliche as it sounds, it's true.
This third point, your families must hate it. So what this is,
I think we kind of addressed that in the first few questions, but okay.
So I put this one down because I think it was more of like not our family saying this to us, but it was more of like just strangers or like distant cousins or like distant families that Dustin meet who like don't even live here, or like who you've never met before. Yeah, just like strangers or like friends of friends or like acquaintances that ask us this question or say this statement that our families must hate or must not like that we're together. And my thought all the time is like, why do you think that? Why is it the first thing that I tell you that, you know, my husband is black, and that's the first thing they say, like, oh, were your parents okay with that? Or how did your parents react when they found out that he's black? And it's like, okay, like why did that have to be, why couldn't you say like, oh, what do you love about him? Or you know, what's your favorite feature about him? Like you had to go there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, I can just recall a few times where, you know, this still happens, like even now, like when we talk to like new people about our relationship and all that, that same question gets brought up. Like, well, let me rephrase that. It's not the same question that gets brought up, but like they say it, like they kind of like twist it up a little bit here and there. Like they say it in a way, like sometimes they say like, oh, like what does your dad or your mom think about it? Like how were they you know, when they first found out? Part of me, you know, wants to, I mean, what am I trying to say? Because usually I am the first one to chime in when that question is asked. Like I always get super excited to answer like, oh yeah, they love me. Like my father-in-law, he already was calling me his son and all that. My mother-in-law was already feeding me so much where I gained like about 30 pounds in the first year. Like I said in the first question, like they showed so much hospitality and love to me in the beginning. It was, yeah. It was something different that obviously I didn't expect, in a good way, of course, because, you know, when a few of our friends found out about our relationship before I met Lori's family, they were like warning me, kind of like trying to scare me and like in a way where I have to be prepared just in case if the worst happens. Like if her family doesn't accept me, like oh, you gotta watch out for her dad, you know, he's gonna be super protective. You gotta watch out for her uncles, you gotta watch out for her grandpa. I remember meeting all of them for the first time at Lori's 15th birthday party. I got handed drinks, everybody shook my hand. They were asking like genuine personal questions about me that had nothing to do with race. Like, you know, they asked about my interests, and like I remember them asking me questions about how me and Lori got together. Like what are some things that I seen Lori that I fell in love with, like the guys, like the people I was supposed to be scared of, you know, they were asking me like they were trying to get to know me personally, and that is something, like I said, that I'll just always remember and I'll always treasure, because it's quite the opposite in my experience than what people assume. Because yeah, like I said, I got that love from the beginning. I guess I'm just lucky, I suppose. So yeah.
I think too, even now, so many people just are so curious about Dustin. Yeah. I think specifically because they're like, oh, he is a black man. Oh, he's not Hmong. I think like even now, so many people ask for Dustin. Like they just love him. They in a way kind of idolize you. But that's another thing. Every single time I go out just to like my family, their events, they're always like, hey, where's Dustin? Where's he at? Is he coming?
Yeah,
and it's like, or they're like, oh, bring Dustin. I'm like, what about me? I'm your family. Are you gonna invite me?
You were there before me.
Yeah, and they love him now. I mean, even before they did. But I feel like every single time, it's always, bring Dustin. Don't forget Dustin. Invite Dustin too. Okay, this next point is really interesting. This one is, it's all about the looks. So this was kind of similar to the other point that we were bringing up. I think to me, it was a lot more prominent during high school, just because I went to a public high school, and if you know, it's very diverse at a public high school. I think, you know, at that time, a lot of teenagers at that time were just literally dating whoever they want and being with anybody. And I think that was where the peak of, oh, maybe that's what we're doing too, is, you know, or even for me, like maybe that's what I'm doing is, you know, there's a lot of black culture in the cities, and maybe that's what I wanted to do, was to be part of that, or I wanted to be with a black young teenager at that time. I don't want to call you man, because you were just a kid in high school, and like to be different, right? Or to, you know, have a special relationship. And I don't know, I just think that's so weird. You know, if you don't know them, don't assume that. It's just like, people love who they want to love. If you want to be in an interracial relationship, if your heart is in the right place, if you have the right intentions to be in a relationship and to want to pursue someone, if they look different from you or if they have a different culture than you, then by all means do it. And that was the case for us. But I think there are also cases where people just do it because they want to be different, or they want to look exotic or stand out. And you know, that wasn't really the case for me and Dustin. It's really cliche, but it was all rooted in love.
Yeah. I just remember there's just been, again, a couple more instances about this topic too, where I just remember just talking to random people, whether that's like playing basketball with them or just some acquaintances that I had back in high school. Somehow word would get out that, you know, I'm dating somebody, because I was kind of known as just that shy kid from my first year of high school, my freshman year up to senior. I was shy my whole high school, all my high school years, but somehow I still made a name for myself. I don't know how, but people knew me, to say the least, even though I kept to myself. It's weird, but anyways.
No, it was also because Dustin was, you know, really good in playing basketball in high school.
Oh, well,
and so
besides, you know, that, yeah.
It's like the most typical, like, black young man stereotype.
It was my escape.
No, it was a stereotype of you, of just like, you know, you're a tall young man who is African American or biracial as well, and you play basketball. So a lot of people were really into that at that time.
Yeah, and I guess I was one of the topics that came up. Like I said, okay, just to stay on topic. So anyways, somehow word would get out that, you know, I'm dating somebody, and some acquaintances in high school, again, found out at the time. I just remember sitting in class, in one of these classes with a couple of them, and I think one of them asked me like, do I have a girlfriend? I think the reason why they asked me that, because they noticed hickeys on my neck.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, I think that's when they asked me that, and I told them like, yeah, and then for some reason, they asked me about her race. What's your girlfriend's race? I told them she's Hmong, she's Asian. She's Hmong, which is like Asian, because apparently not many people know about Hmong people. So I had to specify that, but then just clarify with them, like, yeah, she's Asian. And then the next thing that he said it was, I felt so weird about it.
I don't even know about this.
I just felt so weird about it when he asked me this. He was like, you try and go for those Blasian babies I see. Yeah, you got you something exotic, huh? And I was like I said, I was just creeped out, and I was like, yeah, sure. And I just stuck my face into my assignment and just kept going, just kept writing in my assignment. All I was just thinking, like, I'm just dating an Asian woman. I don't have a pet chameleon or something. That the way they were trying to make it seem like, just saying something exotic, that was off-putting for me. But yeah, just a couple instances like that too is just a good example of just that people even approach me finding out that I'm dating outside my race, that, you know, I want somebody exotic, or I'm going for a mixed breed of exotic babies. And it's just like, come on, we just can't be humans and just love each other just because of who they are on the inside. That sounded so corny, but yeah.
it's
yeah.
Honestly, yeah, truly that's what it is. And you know, I got that a lot too when I was in high school, where like people just assumed that I was with Dustin for the stereotypes. Like I was saying, it's so weird. I think it was just kind of the deal back then, where a lot of Hmong girls like me were attracted to black boys, to say the least. And I think people just have weird fetishes. And I remember too, like in high school, a lot of my friends, or even just people that I knew in high school, when they found out that I was with Dustin, they would say like, oh, you would make such cute Blasian babies. And it's like, that's not why I'm with Dustin.
I mean, it's true, of course. That's not the sole reason why we're together, that the way that people are trying to make it out to be, you know.
Yeah.
We're still, you know.
That's not the end goal.
Yeah, and we're still facing that even now, too, with some people in our lives, too. And it's just these things we're addressing now with these people, and we're just going to continue to do so, because I'd say this is our journey of just calling people out. This is our revenge tour.
Revenge.
Okay, I'm sorry, God. Forgive me, God. I'm not vengeful, but
yeah,
this is just in our season. We're in our
just
season.
here to spread awareness.
Yes, our season of spreading awareness.
Just think of this as like our testimony.
Yeah.
We're just here to talk about our testimony and what we experienced as an interracial couple. Okay, this next point is you must deal with constant racism.
I'm not gonna lie. I instantly thought of just listening to this question. We do face lots of racism. It's not like every waking moment in our relationship it's racism. You know, we do face people that generally support us, of course, that being, you know, most of our family and friends of ours. There's still times where we do get subtle comments and passive aggressive stuff said to us, which is still would count. I would say it would count as, you know, racism still. But, you know, of course, we're used to it. I'm used to it. Not saying that it's still okay for it to happen to us. It's just something that it's not like it's something that we're not used to already, you know. As
unfortunate as it is, I feel like Dustin deals with it a lot more in my culture, in my Hmong culture, whereas like I feel Dustin's family has always been opening to me and just welcoming, and has never been discriminatory towards me. I've just never had a hard time with his family, and I feel like it's just always been a challenge with my family, my relatives, Hmong strangers. So maybe we're the problem. I'm just kidding.
Commercial break.
Oreo.
Oreo, boy. He hears the doggies. He hears other doggies. Oh, he's growling.
Say hi.
The boo-boo-woo-boos. It's crazy because Oreo is as old as our relationship. Isn't that right, boy? He is 8. He just turned 8 this past September.
That's true.
Yeah, he has a lot of white fur. Most of this is like gray fur blended into his white fur under his neck. It used to be like just black fur, but it's starting to blend because of his gray hairs coming in. Oreo's getting old, but he's still our puppy. Good boy, saying hi.
Okay, let's... This next point is you must get stairs everywhere you go.
Stairs? I was thinking about these kind of stairs. Stairs everywhere we go. Not everywhere, predominantly Asian places. I would say crazy that a lot of this just feels almost one-sided. But again, it's nothing that I'm not used to. I'm just glad that I can laugh about this stuff now, because most of the time it really is funny. just having just people look at us. Like, sometimes I feel a sense of pride too. Whenever I step into places and we get stares, I don't want to make it seem like it's just like a sense of superiority. Like, it's not, that's not where it comes from. It's just, again, it's just something I'm used to, and then, you know, I'm just taking pride that I'm just have a lovely wife, lovely Hmong wife like Lori, and I'm just glad that people notice it, that we're out there, and as a sign that, like, yeah, it's 2025. You know, this exists, and that I'm seeing. Honestly, yeah, I'm starting to see a lot more interracial couples step into those kind of spaces too, which is, of course, it's always heartwarming to see, because, you know, we're like them in a way, of course, even though we might not know anything about them, but, you know, we can always relate in some sense with them somehow. I relish in those stares. I love it. Okay. So,
well, yeah. I think for me, I do feel really weird about it too whenever we go to predominantly Asian places, and it's so weird. Like, you could just see, like, we're at the grocery store and like somebody will just walk past us and they'll like turn their necks and they're like
really stare at us like we're like big tall golden statues or something.
Yeah, they're like, oh. And it's like, okay, what's happening? They just make it so obvious, and like, it's like, are you gonna break your neck? What are you looking at?
Sometimes when they walk past and I see that, I just watch them, I just smile like that. I'm just like, yeah,
it's so weird, yeah, because you notice it more than I do. I'm just really oblivious to it. I'm just like, you know, it's whatever. And I think, you know, I think for the longest time we were just dealing with trying to prove people wrong, and I don't want to say like that became an idol or became a stronghold.
It was. I'm just gonna just say, I'm
gonna address it.
It was a stronghold for me. Yeah, for the longest time I stepped into spaces where I just wanted to prove people wrong. Like, you know, a few times when we're drinking with people, me not being Hmong, people assume that I can't handle my alcohol. And there's been many times where I just felt like I had to prove myself to them just so I can feel accepted by them. It's kind of off topic, but just bringing this up, you know, again, it just comes from that sense of pride too, of just wanting to prove people wrong, which is a definite stronghold that I just want to cast out too. Because, you know, now things are different, especially us coming to the Lord now. My presence is already established because of God. You know, our lives are fully under God now. I just want to verbally just address that and just speak it out into the world that our relationship, our marriage, our lives is under God now. We're not living to impress other people. We're not living to prove people wrong. We are together under God now. And it's because of Him that we are able to have the strength to even put up with some of this stuff still, because we know that He's in our corner. So, but before God, there's always this sense of pride that I had to prove people wrong, because I was different. I wanted to prove to everybody that I don't gangbang, I don't smoke, I don't even, you know, drink, or I can't handle my alcohol if so many drinks is handed to me. You know, I'm not a did I say gangster?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not a gangster. A typical black man in their eyes.
A stereotypical.
Yes. I've just been in our relationship for so long, just wanting to prove them wrong that I'm not a stereotype. That's not even my character. Outside of that, I don't even act a gangster. I don't want to be gangster. I never try to act a gangster because I think that's cringy. I'm just not that guy, you know. I'm not that person that people think that I am, you know. Not to, like, you know. And there's also sometimes where I kind of have to, I feel like I have to like lower my energy a bit so I don't scare certain people. Like sometimes like I try to like soften my voice to let them know I'm not a threat, even though I might look scary on the outside. I don't sound scary, and I try to prove to people like that I'm not scary by doing that. But you know, now I'm just myself. Whether people like me or not, I don't care anymore, because my life is under God now, and I don't have to earn anybody's trust, or I don't have to earn their respect. I don't have to earn anybody's just approval, you know. But yeah, for the longest time, that's been a stronghold. So yeah.
Thanks for covering that. I think God has truly taken that away from both of our hearts of just proving people wrong and trying to be better than what people tell us and say to us.
Yeah.
Okay, this last point is interracial couples don't understand each other's cultures.
False. think I touched base a little bit about this earlier. Just saying that I understand why these thoughts are said about us. I understand why people may ask us these things. Just to, you know, set the record straight, I don't want to condemn anybody and just make them feel bad for being genuinely curious. You know, honestly, I appreciate those people who are genuinely curious with these kind of questions that they ask us. Because, you know, I always, you know, honestly, I love talking about us in this sense because I just find it enjoyable, just educating people about us. Because, of course, not only I love talking about Lori, you know, but I just love talking about my experience just being around her culture and just as a black man, just things that I might have faced, you know, things that I might have struggled with, things that I just genuinely enjoyed. I always love talking about my experience just dating outside my race, specifically in the Hmong community, because again, it's just a learning opportunity for anybody that I talk to about it. I know I just remember in the beginning, I just dedicated all my time just being around Lori's family just to get to know who Hmong people were, because like I said, her family is very traditional and I wanted to learn everything from religion to the culture to the language to the certain practices. I attended funerals, I did everything. And you know, I still involved in a lot of the stuff that the Hmong community does. I'll be honest, one thing that I'm still struggling with is the Hmong language. I'm still practicing. I'm still a baby when it comes to you guys' language. It's a beautiful language, and that's why it is very difficult for me to learn it. But it's on me. I take responsibility on not spending more time getting to learn, because I always told myself it's too difficult, but you know, I'm still learning. I'm not like I completely given up. I understand a lot more than I do speak it. I will say that. One of these days, y'all will get to see that. Yeah, that is one thing that I would say from my perspective, is that I do understand a lot of what the Hmong culture is. I'm still a student though. I will admit it, I am still a student. I'm always open to learning more because I love the Hmong culture, and that's one thing that, another thing that, reason why I fell in love with Lori was because of her cultures. It's beautiful. There's just a lot of flavor, you know, that came with it, you know.
Your culture too.
Yeah, but
okay.
Yeah, of course. But that's just, again, my perspective. Just being around the Hmong community, it's been a lot of good stuff that I learned and a lot of good experiences that I was a part of, and I'm just glad that I have a family that I can keep doing that stuff with. So
I agree to a lot of them, the points that you named, and I think it's just really having an open mind to cultural differences. I would say when I started coming around your family, it was a culture shock in a lot of things. I just feel like in my family, we are like around people, we're really soft-spoken. If you look at like what's on paper for Asian people, we are just a little more meek and soft-spoken and indirect and less expressive. Maybe more expressive, but less direct. Whereas with Dustin's family, and just seeing how he talks to his mom, like I saw that difference that he has with his mom compared to what kind of conversations I hold with my parents. I feel like you just have a lot more vulnerable conversations with your mom. You're more open to just like sharing how you feel about things. And I also feel like when you guys talk really loud. It's like you're literally right next to each other.
I grew up around, that's my family. We'll be 3 inches from each other. So what do you think about this? What's been going on with? Like, we be yelling in each other's faces. Yeah. We're not angry though, but yeah. I've grown up around loud people, which taught me to be loud, you know. That's why I'm comfortable. You know, I have a speech voice. I developed a speech voice where I speak like my voice box is like down here. Okay. Like this is where I speak from.
Yeah, so. My voice box is right here with my heart.
Okay.
But yeah, I just remember, I think Dustin shared this with me. I think you shared this with me a long time ago, where like you were the quietest in your family. I mean, you still kind of are, but like growing up, you would like talk really like softly, and like your mom would always say like, speak up, you have to speak up so I can hear you. And you know, that was just never the case with me. And that just gave me more understanding of like, you know, what it means to be bold and just how you speak up and like using your voice. A lot of other things, like it's really, we have really similar stuff too. Like, I think your family is when it comes to it being really important, like your family shows up for each other, and that's the same with my family too. And then when your family needs space from each other, that's the same with my family too. Yeah.
I would say under normal circumstances, like when our families are on normal terms with each other. Her family, I don't think we touched base on this topic too, but like just a random thing I thought about too, like for parties. My family doesn't really host big gatherings and stuff. My family isn't as big as Lori's family, which is fine.
Yeah.
I did have a little bit of envy though in the first couple of years, just seeing how big Lori's family is, and like all these big lavish gatherings and events and parties that they host. And I would just be thinking like, where was this all my life, you know? Because again, my family hasn't, you know, didn't really do that. I mean, yeah, there has been a few times I can recall that we've had big gatherings and big parties, but that was like when me and like my cousins that are around my age, when we were all like very young. Now that everybody is older, we just kind of just been separated from with our own lives, you know, starting our own families and just in our own lanes. Which honestly, sometimes, you know, I think about it now, you know, it does make me a little sad just thinking back on it, and how things used to be before. But just the context of it is just, we're older now, you know, people got families to take care of, and that's just how it is with my family. And of course, Lori is kind of opposite.
Yeah.
Her family is big, and of course, everything is big with her family too. So
that was a culture shock too.
Yeah.
Like, at a certain age, your family just kind of stops like celebrating birthdays, or like doesn't really make birthdays a big deal, or
Oreo, go.
Or even like for holidays like Christmas, Thanksgiving, your mom just makes a meal and calls you guys over.
She don't call up other relatives. She just calls her kids. She calls me and my siblings to get some food, and that's it. So we don't stay to have like, you know, just family time to catch up. I mean, sometimes sometimes we do, like we would stay like over at like an hour at the latest, but it's not like a whole party like Lori just described. It's just my mom just cooks. She calls us over to get some food, grab a plate, get a few containers to pack it up, and then we're just out the door.
Out the door.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Or even like, you know, we've been together for 8 years, and we still haven't done a holiday party or just a holiday gathering with his family. Yeah. And my family, we go all out
every year too. Every year.
For Thanksgiving, we just go to so many people's houses. We have, you know, a wonderful meal, and then we just sit and talk and hang out. And sometimes we host games. That's the same thing for Christmas. We have a wonderful meal again. We just gather and sit and talk and hang out and play games. We also do a lot of gift exchange. So, you know, my family, we're really big on doing like Secret Santa or White Elephant, and you know, I just noticed that that's not really the same with Dustin's family, and I think that's okay too.
We need that peace and chaos balance.
Yeah, like it's a good balance. Yeah,
it's worked all these years, and I don't see it stopping anytime soon.
Yeah,
you know, and all that craziness that you guys always say that y'all are, her family always tells me how crazy they are, and I always have to reassure them that they're not. They're just loud and just have high energy. Again, which is a good balance for me growing up around just, I don't want to say old people, but my parents are a little bit on the older side compared to her parents. So they're not as energetic as her parents. Lori's parents are a lot younger. So of course they still got the energy to host parties and stuff and do all this stuff. Which is okay. You know, I love my parents just the way they are, of course. I love my parents just the way that they are. Yeah, as we established, that's just a good balance with us.
All right, well, that is all for this video. I hope that you all sat through and listened to everything that we had to share. There were some good points and there were some okay points, I would say.
Spicy points.
Yeah.
For the ones that doesn't really know me and Lori personally, I hope this was a perfect opportunity just to get who me and Lori are, not only as, you know, a couple, but just who we are as individuals too. I love talking to new people, even though I'm talking to a camera right now. But you know, I just love stuff like this. You know, I really hope that you guys got to know a little bit more about us. Like I said, y'all will definitely be seeing a lot more of us in the future. And you'll get to see a lot more stuff that we do and who we are.
Yeah, you know, this doesn't change how Dustin and I are gonna live our life. I'm grateful for all these things that have happened to us because it just made us stronger, and it just gives us more experience of how to raise our kids eventually and how to prepare them for these kind of conversations too. And you know, I'm extremely grateful for everybody that has shown up in our life and has just been understanding and supportive, and I know that, you know, it's always gonna be like that. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please give this video a huge thumbs up. Subscribe if you are not yet. Leave a comment below if you have experienced something like this before and what else you would like to see from the iconic duo, Dustin and Lori.
2 peas in a pod.
Until next time, bye.